Veterans. Let me start with something you already understand. In the military, we never ask what percentage of missions fail. We ask different questions. What's the objective? What's the terrain? What resources do we have? And how long can we sustain the mission? But when people step into business, the conversation suddenly becomes casual. They throw around statistics like trivia. 50% fail. No, 80% fail. No, maybe it's less. That's the wrong conversation. The real question isn't how many businesses fail. The real question is why so many people walk into business without a plan to survive. Here's the number I use, and I'm very precise about it. Roughly 80% of businesses do not exist in their original form after 7 years. Now listen carefully. That does not mean 80% failed. Some shut down, some sold, some merged, some made money, but not enough to justify the sacrifice. And this is where veterans need to pay attention. Because this isn't about quitting. It's about recognizing when a mission no longer makes sense. A lot of people don't build businesses. They build low-paying jobs for themselves. And unlike the military, there's no commander calling a halt. They just grind until they're burned out, broke, or both. Most business statistics are misleading because they ignore time. If someone says half of businesses fail, they're usually talking about a 5-year window. Stretch the timeline to 7 years, and the picture changes dramatically. Veterans understand this instinctively. A mission that looks fine at day 30 can be a disaster by month 18 if logistics fail. Business is the same. You cannot judge success or failure without asking how long the business has been operating, how much has been invested, and what the trend line looks like. Short timelines lie. Long timelines reveal the truth. So let's define success the way professionals do, not motivational speakers. I use 3 simple tests. Miss any one of them, and you're in danger. First, capital reality. How much real money did the business consume just to exist? Debt, equity, savings, credit cards, opportunity cost. Most first-year businesses burn between $80,000 and $150,000 when you count everything. Ignoring that is like ignoring ammo expenditure in a firefight. Second, owner return. What did the owner actually earn? Not revenue, not gross profit, personal income. If you're working 3,000 hours a year and pulling in $50,000, you didn't build a business. You built a fragile job with no benefits and no backup. Third, trajectory. Is the business moving toward sustainability? Is income increasing? Is the company becoming more valuable? Is the owner gaining leverage instead of losing sleep? If the answer is no, time is not your friend. Time is the enemy. Now, let me give you a sobering comparison. Venture capital firms operate with massive cash, elite advisors, experienced leadership, and sophisticated systems. And even then, here's what they expect. 1 out of 10 investments succeeds. 4 or 5 fail outright. 3 or 4 limp along as what are sometimes called vampire companies. Not dead, not alive, just draining time and money. Let that sink in. These are the best resourced players in the market, and they still plan for casualties. So when someone tells you business failure rates are exaggerated, my response is simple. The casualty rate is real. The only question is whether you planned for it. Now here's the good news. Veterans are actually better equipped than most people to succeed in business. You already understand risk. You understand discipline. You understand after-action reviews. You understand operating inside systems. And you know the difference between effort and progress. The problem isn't veterans. The problem is that civilian business strips away structure and says, good luck, figure it out. That's why community matters. That's why frameworks matter. That's why shared intelligence matters. You were never trained to fight alone. You shouldn't build alone either. So here's your assignment. Simple but serious. Ask yourself this question. Am I building a business or am I building a low-paying job? If you don't know the answer yet, that's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step toward control. Inside the Free Enterprise Warriors community, we focus on clarity, discipline, and alignment. So your time, energy, and sacrifice actually lead somewhere. Mission clarity saves lives. In business, it saves years.